So, I was brought up never, ever to use the C word. And for some of you, that might come as a surprise. But today, I'm going to tell you my C word story. So, for those of you who are thinking, oh, what's she going to talk about? It's not cost of living and it's not climate change. So let me take you all back to March the 22nd, 2020. I was busy and about like you do, and our then chief exec, not Stuart, came to see me and said, Dawn, could you please lead the organisation through the COVID pandemic? And I remember thinking, you've got to be joking me. You seriously got to be joking me. I said to him, I can't do that. I'm just a nurse. And he said, Dawn, we can't think of anyone better, so over to you. I went down to the boardroom and set up the incident management centre. God, I was terrified. I put the telly on and it was just unfolding constantly. And I just kept thinking about what I'd said to the chief exec, that I was a nurse. And I kind of held on to those kind of nursing values and what that meant and what I needed to do. And I had to keep people safe. That's all I kept thinking. I've got to keep patients safe and I've got to keep all the staff safe. We set up the incident management room and then we set up an incident management team. And to do that, I had to pull together lots of corporate colleagues and senior leaders in the trust. I thought, well, no one's going to want this gig. No one is going to want to do this. But blimey, was I surprised. I was inundated with colleagues who couldn't wait to help, who couldn't wait to support me, and many of you are in this room. We had an incident meeting every day, sometimes twice a day. They were 7 days a week, and they were all through the pandemic. And I honestly recall no one missing those meetings, and there were Saturdays, Sundays, bank holidays, because everybody had this common purpose. We all worked together to keep everybody safe, our patients and our staff. We cut through bureaucracy. There was no silo working. We listened to one another. We shared our experience. We shared our fears. And we really, really learned from one another, all different departments across the trust. And we were strong. And when the pandemic came to its end and we stood down the IMT, people didn't want that to go. And so we moved into things that replicated that across the trust. So we've now got the trust management board. We developed our huddles. So there's all sorts of different huddles across the trust, as many of you will be part of. Safety huddles, on-call huddles, huddles before and after incidents. And that was all the learning that we took from COVID about how we all had to work together, listening to one another, and all those different perspectives so we could learn. Then came the vaccination campaign. Oh my God. My excitement was off the scale. I remember ringing the chief nurse, and at the time, she'll remember, we were so excited. We were going to get the vaccines. Our chief exec had been working to get those for us. This was it. This was the end. Vaccines, this is going to work. But I was wrong. What I got was staff and patients feeling distrust, confusion, not wanting the vaccine, suspicious, and I couldn't understand it. And I remember ringing Diane at the time and saying, I don't understand, because this is going to get us out of this. This is fantastic. We set up the vaccination centres. Again, people overwhelmingly wanted to volunteer. Stuart sat on reception at one of them many a time. Diane did the vaccines. Everybody was working together. Again, there was no boundaries. People were equal. We were working for that one common purpose, sharing our experience, sharing our learning, keeping us all safe. But still it played on my mind that people weren't coming to those vaccine clinics, and why weren't they coming? And again, I spoke to Diane. We realised through listening to people and their hesitancy, it was around generations of mistrust, the Second World War, and the effects that vaccine campaigns, testing vaccines on people in concentration camps, testing vaccines on our Black, Asian, minority ethnic colleagues. This was years and years ago, but still deep-seated in what was coming through today. Our younger members of staff were really worried about sterilisation. Some of our Black staff, male staff, were saying, this is about sterilising us. And the vast amount of learning that we got as we progressed with the vaccination campaign, we were really able to change how we targeted those groups to make sure that they were successful in having that vaccine. Our chief nurse personally rang a large number of people who were hesitant. Our chief exec took a couple of people to the vaccine centre to support them. We all worked together, we listened, we learned, and we moved forward, and we got fabulous vaccination rates. But I learned a lot from that. The whole thing was one of the most humbling experiences of my whole nursing career. And again, seeing the faces of people, the realness of people, like when I was a jobbing nurse on the wards, looking into the eyes of people every day. So I guess what I'm saying to you now is this is my call to action to all of you. Most of you in the room know me. Keep the conversation going. Keep talking to me. Stop me. Speak to me. Don't let all the learning that we got in COVID, all the good things that came out of COVID, and they were, don't let them be wasted, and make sure that you continue those through your practice and that learning, not working in silos, listening to each other, learning from each other, the whole humility of leadership, really getting to know people. And think about what your COVID legacy will be and what you'll take from it and take it into your practice going forward. And I'll leave you with that. What will be your COVID legacy?